This guy gets stabbed to death through a stag movie. Sleeping bag death's always been a classic in the Friday the 13th series. There's a great scene where a woman is frozen in liquid nitrogen and her face shattered.
There's, 250 bodies to his credit.
We've run periodic body count tallies in the magazine.
I did kill 28 people in Jason X. I killed 7 people in the first 2.5 minutes of the movie. So it's such a good tone.
These films kind of satisfy this bloodlust in the audience. You don't go to see great acting or clever storytelling.
Good shooting, Mahoney. Now clean up all this shit, huh?
Audiences really just go to see Jason do his thing, swing that machete, and kill as many people as possible.
Yeah, stick him again.
These movies are about the audience. They're about the down and dirty. What do the fans want? What do they want to scream for? How do they want to react?
These are what we used to call the date movies. That was our specialty, how to get a guy to take a girl to a movie that they both wanted to see. She'd get scared, she'd grab him, he'd hold her, and it was the beginning of a wonderful evening.
I think people have always liked horror films, and they'll always be made, and people will always see them because it's like the stimulation. They're being scared. I root for Jason. It's sort of like riding a roller coaster. You get at the top of the thing, and you go shooting down, and everybody puts their hands up in the air and goes, yeah!
There are people who never leave their apartments. They just watch this type of video over and over.
Only, really cool people see horror films, I think, and that's what makes them good.
It's a powerful fan club. I think it speaks to alienation. The guy dating the cheerleader and the football quarterback, he's not exactly the Jason fan. They appeal to the strength of the outcast.
He was drowned by these kids and he didn't fit in. I can relate to that. Kids picked on me.
It's amazing to me sometimes the variety of fans.
The real fans, who get hooked on them when they're young, they watch them their whole life.
A lot of fans that are in their 60s that love these movies, kids that are 5 years old, they come up to me and say, I love your movies and I know how the makeup works and everything, and they're not scared by them.
When is too much violence too much? It's one of those things that I'm sure critics just would wish that this cockroach of a film would just disappear.
It would be written about by mainstream film critics, but they would write about it in order to say, how harmful is this to society?
Do people who watch these movies begin imitating them at some point?
I remember watching sneak previews with Siskel and Ebert, and the two of them launching a campaign against Friday the 13th, actually urging viewers to write to Paramount and complain about the film.
This is an age-old discussion about the responsibility of the filmmaker.
I went all across the country defending these films.
Banning horror films isn't going to have the rape rates drop.
They say that there's a lot of killings in these flicks and it can be a bad influence on the viewer's mind, but who cares, because there's so much of it everywhere and anything that, who cares?
I think they're disgusting.
Mainly you would be on a panel with someone who said that violent movies create violence in society. What they were really saying is violence in a movie is not going to affect me. It's going to affect all those other people, those skanky people out there who don't know how to watch a movie. We understand, but they don't.
Fantasy has always been an outlet, and I think that if you go back all the way to Greek plays, there's enormous amounts of violence in the drama that Sophocles and those guys wrote.
Well, it's no more graphic than real life.
What these groups always seem to forget, no matter what they're protesting, is that they are only helping us sell tickets. When I was a teenager, if I heard parents didn't like a movie, I was the first online. That was exciting. I was in the theater every weekend seeing a slasher movie. And quite honestly, it just led me to direct one of them. It didn't lead me to, slaughter anybody.
Kane Hodder started out as a stuntman, and he definitely had the physical goods to personify Jason Voorhees.
I'm a little larger than most of the stunt guys in the business, so I have the opportunity of getting acting parts that have stunts involved, which consequently got me into the Jason role.
Jason is a horrible job. You wear all that stuff and you walk around and you probably sit in makeup for hours. Up until Kane Hodder, nobody really wanted to do that job twice. But Kane wanted to do it 4 times.
The first 2 movies that I did, Part 7 and Part 8, I was amazed that I was actually playing this character. And once I got everything on and put the hockey mask on, it felt so natural. I just felt like that was the part that I was born to play. It was very hard to make a character scary if you can't use your facial expressions or your voice. It's all in how you stand.
Kane Hodder as Jason has a certain vocabulary of movement that he's created. He actually has a thing where his head moves first and then the body follows.
He's the kind of guy who will stand while blocking a scene, will look the director and the writer dead in the face and say, "No, Jason won't do that." And cause the writer and the director to go, "Okay."
In Jason X, there was a scene written where I come up behind a guy